Hello, everyone. It's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and welcome to Lost in the Wasteland, my weekly show where I learn a little bit more about somebody else's perspective on movies. And for this episode, I have a special guest, actor Ian Plunkett. Thank you so much for coming on.
No, no problem. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And we get a chance to, in a little bit, we'll learn a little bit more about what you love about movies. But to start, we get to hear about a film that you have been in, which is Flesh and Blood. Can you please tell us a little bit about the film?
Yeah, it's a short horror film based in Glasgow, and it was done about I think it's about 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. We made
Mhm.
it, and aye, no, it's doing actually. It's quite well. It's got nice, good reviews and that. Aye, and I was very proud of it. It's a really nice experience to be involved in it. Aye.
Awesome. What interests you in being part of the film?
It was basically it was a student film. It was a a, a Facebook page, and they were looking
Okay.
for actors, the script seemed very good. It seemed like say between me and my son in the film,
Mhm.
it seemed a good character to play, and I applied for it, and I was lucky to get it through the audition.
Awesome. And what drew you to this specific character that you got to play in the film?
Yeah, it was very intense, and I love
Mhm.
playing characters like that. I love playing intense characters, and you get right into the role, and it was a powerful part as well, and I thought I could get my teeth right into it. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Having got a chance to watch the film, it kind of feels like it's a bit in two parts, and especially that second piece of the film where it is you and the character who is your son. There's a lot of emotion there, and I'm sure it was something very impactful getting to dig into a role like that for sure.
Oh, definitely, definitely. And oh, sorry,
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
it was just on that day. It was the first time we'd actually met together,
Mhm.
and we just says we'll just go for it, in the scene.
Mhm.
We'll just really go for it. I know. I'm glad the way it turned out. Yeah.
Well, and that's a little surprising to me. Definitely, that was your first time meeting and being able to do that because you could definitely feel that both of you really went for that in the film, and there was really spark of intensity in it. And I guess what do you feel like's the biggest thing for you as an actor that you got out of starring in this film, what you took away from your experience?
Yeah, I was really happy the way it turned out, because as I
Mhm.
say, that was the first time we all met that day. We
Mhm.
filmed it that day, so we did, and and it was just the way it turned out. It was well edited and everything all together. It was a good team, you know. And as I say, for it to be filmed in one day, I was surprised how well it,
Mhm.
it did turn out. I was really proud of it. Really proud.
Awesome. And, the filmmaking process certainly is a collaborative effort, and there's a lot of things going into that. So I'm glad to hear that you felt like you had a good experience being part of this team putting the film together.
Oh yeah, it was a great crew. It was really good.
Now, I always like to ask, what if you could give one reason why people should go check out the film? What do you think that big reason is they should check out Flesh and Blood?
Yeah, I just feel it's really suspenseful,
Hmm.
and I think it's very well made. For like a student film. I thought the director was very good. And I think I've not really seen her again since the film, but I think she's got a big future ahead of her. And I think
Hmm.
all the crew have. In fact, they're all very good. And I think that was only like a second film. I think so. Aye.
Yeah, and I can attest, having watched the film, it certainly is a very suspenseful experience. And for this being a student film, and you could obviously tell that this was not made for a ton of money, but it's really impressive and dynamic in how it's all put together, and really gave you and your co-star a big opportunity to put a lot into those performances. And definitely, like, especially that's the thing about short films is like this isn't a big amount of time that you have to invest in the experience. And this one definitely packs a punch in the short amount of time that it is. So it's certainly one that I would definitely recommend people to go check out, and especially to see your performance as well.
Oh, thank you. That means a lot, you know. And it's very good, like putting a show reel together as well. And it was good to take wee bits out of the film, you know. So it was good for that as well.
Absolutely. And I guess how to I always like to wrap up talking about a film with a filmmaker or actor. Where can people find the film and be able to experience it?
It's basically on YouTube. You just
Okay.
type in Flesh and Blood, uh, Flesh and Blood, Ian Plunkett, and it'll come up through there.
Awesome. I'll make sure to put a link to the film on YouTube in the description of this interview so you all can go check out this really well put together suspenseful film that Ian gives a fantastic performance in.
Oh,
But
thanks. That's a pint, all your beer.
yeah, absolutely.
Cheers.
Now, are you ready to dive in a little bit and talk a little bit about what you love about film?
Yeah, no problem. Fire away.
Always like to start with everybody's favorite question, but what's your favorite film, Ian?
My favourite film, it's got to be Christopher Reeve, Superman 1 and 2.
Okay.
Aye. I grew up with them. I just love them.
Mhm.
Aye.
I was actually just recording a podcast with some friends and was talking about the first Superman film, and there's something magical about it. And Christopher Reeve was such a talent and so charismatic. And Superman 2 is one of my favorite
Oh, that's my
superhero
favourite, I
movies.
think.
Yep,
Aye. Oh, aye.
absolutely fantastic. Now, thinking back and like obviously you mentioned like those were films that really stood out to you for a long time, but what's your earliest memory of going to the movies?
I think it was Superman.
Okay.
I think my father took me to see Superman 2, and after that, I think there's a lot of sentiment involved, you know, and I think that's why
Mhm.
it all stuck with me. Aye, that was Superman.
Well, and having an experience like that so early on, and can't even imagine being a kid and going to see those Superman films for the first time and seeing somebody fly
Aye.
across the sky and doing all those amazing things for sure.
I remember
I've
crying. I actually cried. See when he
mhm,
lost his powers. He's
yeah,
walking through the snow. The truck goes by him. I cried. My dad's like, "What are you crying for?" I was just like, he helps everybody, and nobody's helping him. Aye, and see for film to impact you like that. I
yeah.
think that's what made me want to try and get into films. You know, like, can do that to you.
Absolutely. And there's definitely a lot of empathy in that performance from Christopher Reeve, and that particular
Brilliant.
scene is very powerful, and I could definitely see getting a lot of emotion out of that. Now, Ian, do you have a particular favorite genre of movies?
Probably the thriller. Kind of
Okay.
thriller, horror. Aye, kind of. Aye, but thriller. Yeah.
It's nice to get a little bit of suspense and getting put on edge. And, you know, thrillers are always an interesting experience because it's like films are meant to make us feel things, right? And certainly that kind of tension is certainly one that really sticks with you. Do you have any particular thrillers that really stick out to you?
Well, thriller, horror, The Exorcist. The Exorcist really
Yep.
that impacted me. I think that's one of the best films ever made. You know,
Hmm.
and I think as I get older, I appreciated like the start of the film in Iraq, you know, the symbolism and different
Yep.
things. You know, and it was just a brilliant film. You know, I watched it a couple of weeks ago again, and my wife got me the William Friedkin, his book, and
Nice.
and some of the things he got up to was just firing guns next to the actors and all that. It was just crazy. You wouldn't get away with that now, but
Crazy.
it just shows you, you know. But it was a masterpiece. It's a
Hmm.
great film, I think.
The Exorcist is definitely one of my favorite horror films, and that one certainly stood the test of time over 50 plus years since it came out. Now, do you have a particular favorite filmmaker?
Filmmaker, yeah, that's a good one. I like Scorsese. I like Martin
Mhm.
Scorsese. Uh, Michael Mann. I love Heat. I watched that quite a
Yep.
lot. Uh, and William Friedkin. Yeah.
Mhm.
Kind of directors like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a huge Scorsese fan as well, and he's made so many impressive films all across the board, but especially a lot of his crime thrillers really stand out. And bringing up Michael Mann's Heat, there's few crime thrillers that really stand out quite like that one does for sure. And Friedkin certainly found ways to really put people on edge, whether it was, like The French Connection or The Exorcist or Sorcerer and stuff like that for sure.
I've never
Now,
seen Sorcerer. I'll need to try and see that.
I would definitely recommend that one. And it is intense, it is visceral. It was a really impressive experience. And I'd also recommend because it was based off of the same novel as The Wages of Fear, which was a
Yeah.
French film from the 50s too, which is also a fantastic film.
Oh,
So, in terms of in front of the camera, who are some of your favorite actors or actresses that influenced you or really stood out to you?
yeah, obviously De Niro. I love De Niro.
Mhm.
But I really like Gary Oldman as well. I think Gary
Mm,
Oldman's a great actor. He can just merge into different characters, you
yep,
know. But I loved De Niro at his peak when he was just became the character, you know, and like Raging Bull and Deer Hunter, you know,
yep.
from that Heat. It's just brilliant.
Yeah, those late 70s through early 90s De Niro, there's so many great performances there, especially a lot of them with Scorsese. And, Gary Oldman can do anything, literally anything.
He's brilliant. Aye.
Just disappear into anything, whether it's, it's not exactly a film where like he disappears, but even just the stuff that he's been doing on Slow Horses, that series that has been coming out for sure recently, but half the time you don't even realize it's him. He's doing
Aye.
that such an amazing job of just disappearing into it for
Is
sure.
that really good, Shane? I've not seen Slow Horses. Is that good?
I would really recommend it. And, each series is just I think it's just 6 episodes a piece. So it's really intense. They always find compelling stories to go with. And he's an interesting balance of like you really admire him because how good of a job he does, but also he's kind of like a slimy kind of guy.
Right.
And
Aye.
Gary Oldman just channels that so perfectly for sure. Ian, what's
Joshua, sorry, Shane. Keep it just down just a wee bit. That's all right. Cheers. Sorry, Shane.
it's all good. What's a film that you feel like you could just watch literally like every day?
It's got to be Superman. Superman 1 and 2.
Mhm.
I love Goodfellas as well. I really love Goodfellas. It's a good film. I just, yeah, aye, Goodfellas. I was watching Casino. That was about a month ago. I watched that again.
Mhm.
I love kind of the gritty films, you know, and films that you don't think they're acting. You're just right involved in
Yep.
the story. You know, I love that.
Well, and I think whether it's like Goodfellas or Casino, Scorsese does such a great job of they feel so entertaining and they move so well, even though like Casino's a 3 hour movie. Doesn't feel like it though. And
Aye.
you're just engrossed from start to finish, for sure. Now, what's a film that you feel like you connect with because it relates to another interest of yours?
Yeah, probably the Passion of the Christ.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. That's because I'm a believer in
Yep.
Jesus. You know that was the film that really. I've never seen a film like that about Jesus before, you know, and that was just. And I
Mhm.
think Mel Gibson. I forgot Mel Gibson. What a talent, you know,
Yep.
acting and directing as well. I forgot to mention Mel Gibson. I think he's brilliant, Mel Gibson.
Well, and especially because that's the kind of film that obviously doesn't pull punches in telling the story of Jesus, and especially when you see a faith-based film that like really hits, it can really bring so much feeling and emotion out of it. I certainly grew up Roman Catholic here in New Jersey as an Italian American, so I could definitely feel that feeling. I'm a huge fan of Ben-Hur, and
Never seen
that
Ben Hur. Never seen it.
another one I would certainly recommend. You just gotta put away like 3.5 hours for it because it's a long one, but it's definitely worth the time for sure. Um, who's a movie character you feel like you connect with on a personal level?
Movie character. These are brilliant questions. Movie character connect me. I don't know. That's a really good question. Can I come back to that one? That's
Yeah,
a really good
absolutely.
question. I know.
I make the rules around here, so that's perfectly fine.
Brilliant.
Now, Ian, what's a film that you love that you feel like would surprise people?
Yeah, Wizard of Oz. I really like the Wizard of Oz.
Okay.
It was just takes you into a different kind of magical in it. Just I've never watching that when I was a wee boy.
Mhm.
There's something really special about that film as well. Mm.
Awesome. Now, my last question I always like to ask is, what do you love most about movies?
Oh, I just love that they take you away into a different. It just takes you away, you know.
Yeah.
The storytelling, everything. You just get engrossed with the acting. And as I say, I love actors that you don't know they're acting. They're just so
Mhm.
in character. I just love getting took away. If you're took away for 2.5 hours, there's something really great about that. You know, it's magical.
I certainly agree. It's a special experience for sure. Now, how I always like to wrap up my show is let my guests ask me a question. So, what would you like to ask the Wasteland reviewer?
Yeah. What made you become a reviewer? Well,
So, I've always loved movies and I've always loved talking about movies with people. And it was back in 2016. I've had my YouTube channel for 8.5 years at this point. And I actually was going through a breakup and I was trying to figure out something to do that was like me to kind of like distract from what I was, processing and stuff like that. So I just started, I made a Facebook page and was just like writing little reviews about movies that I had seen. And then it kind of morphed into like, I kind of rather like talk to the camera and do it. So honestly, it was a point in my life where I was really trying to find something that I was really passionate about and trying to do something different. And it obviously grew into something.
you're
So,
great. So
yep.
you're excellent.
So that was definitely which is funny because the breakup was actually with my wife. We had been together for over 2.5 years, broke up, got back together after 3 years, and now we're married. So it was a
That's great. That's great. Really happy.
interesting
He's
journey.
realised he's meant for each other.
Yep.
That's
And it came full circle and it's fun because like she'll come on here and talk about movies with me and stuff like that, so it's definitely something we can enjoy together. But
super.
I guess, Ian, I really appreciate you taking the time and chat movies with me and also for sharing Flesh and Blood with me. It was a great little thrilling suspenseful short film that I'm glad that I got a chance to check out.
No, I'm just thank you very much for having me. And I'm glad that you liked the film, Shane. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Cheers.
Thank you so much. And thank all of you out there for always tuning in and supporting your Wasteland Reviewer.